This is the breakdown. What? Hey, everybody. Hi, everyone. It's Wednesday. You know what that means? It's the breakdown. I'm Catherine, aka the High Heeled Gamer, and today I'm super excited. I know I say that almost every Wednesday, but I'm legit super excited because we have a dear friend of mine on the show. He's super busy, so I really appreciate that he's taking the time. You know him from the hit TV show The Comic Book Men. It's Ming Chen. Hey, Ming.
Hey, what's
How
up,
are you?
everybody? How you doing? This is my honor to be on your show. I love that you're doing this. I love that you're live streaming. I love that you're interviewing people. I love that you're spending the time. You're inside. You're safe, and
Yes.
you're doing cool stuff. So that's amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So
Yeah. So I met you 5 years ago.
I think
It's been a
5 years
minute.
ago. I think yeah.
Yeah,
Time goes by
it's been.
quick. But yes.
It does. It does. And you have been super busy since then. You did Comic Book Men, which I absolutely loved. It was such a great, fun show because it was not only fun, it was informative as well. You learned a lot. Do you miss being on the show?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I miss it every day. Yeah, people are like, "What's it like being on TV?" I'm like, "The truth, it's awesome." Like everyone should try and get a TV show. I think the thing I loved about Comic Book Men was, like I fell into it ass backwards. I had no aspirations of being on TV, of being on reality TV, anything like that. I was behind the scenes guy. I'm perfectly content sitting behind a computer and running things for other people. Like and if it happens to be Kevin Smith, that's cool. But I'm fine not being seen at all. So the fact that they threw me and three other idiots onto a TV show about comic books was pretty cool. And we got 7 seasons, we got 96 episodes, but I was ready to go for 20 seasons and like a million
I
episodes.
know.
So yeah,
Like
I do
I
miss
was.
it. And
Yeah, I was ready to watch another 20, and then they were like, no, it's done. I was like, no. But I am grateful that you were able to find other outlets for me to be like, oh, yay, I get to see or hear Ming. This is awesome. So tell us a little bit about your endeavors with a shared universe podcast studio.
So if you watch Comic Book Men, or maybe you followed the adventures of Kevin Smith on the TV show, we're seen talking around a poker table and telling Kevin about our adventures at the store. And I think when we started, I think a lot of people are like, "What are they doing? Why are they talking to microphones to each other?" And it's like, "Oh, they're podcasting. This looks pretty cool." I think when we started, when the show first aired in 2012, there are a few podcasts out there, but I don't think a lot of people knew what a podcast was. And now everybody's doing it. And so since we were kind of established on TV as podcasters, and since we've been doing this for 10 years, we're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had our own space to maybe teach other people how to do this? Because we kept running into people at Comic Cons going, hey, I saw you guys podcasting on the show. I started listening to your podcast. I want to make my own. How do I do it? And we're like, oh, well, I mean, we'll teach you in 10 minutes, I guess. This isn't really like the classroom setting, but we'll tell everybody everything we know in 10 minutes. But what we really wanted was like our own space to teach people. And so finally, we got off our butts. We rented some cheap office space and we set up not only a podcast studio, but we were like, wait, look at all these bare walls. Look at all that. We could throw all our geek stuff on the walls, all the stuff we've collected at Comic Cons, and just all this stuff that had been piling up. It's like, well, we have our own space now. We can make this like the ultimate podcast studio slash comic book library slash nerd heaven, and
Yeah,
that's
it
what we're
definitely
doing.
is.
So. Yeah, they pan around here. There's a Life-size Stormbreaker back there. There's a Golden Girls skateboard. Yeah, captured
Oh
by
my
Lee.
God.
There's a Han Solo blaster in the glass case. There, you can kind of see Linda Carter Wonder Woman. It's
Yeah.
pretty insane. So
It's super cool.
yeah,
That is
and this
super
is
cool.
just one wall. We have like 2 studios, we have a reception area, it's insane. So,
Wow.
um
That's amazing. Now people can rent out the studio, correct?
yeah, exactly. You can rent out the studio by the hour, it comes with the engineer. So I think most of our market is people like, "Oh, I've been thinking about starting a podcast. What do I have to buy? I have to buy gear, I guess. I have to learn how to upload and RSS feeds and all that." And it's intimidating. I'm like, "No, that's we took care of all that for you. You get to podcast, be on these sweet microphones or, this
Yeah.
sweet microphone, the black version." And,
Jealous.
so we take care of all the gear, we take care of all the knowledge. You just gotta come down and talk about and talk about whatever your podcast, is gonna be about. So we have everything from small businesses to geeks who argue about movies and comic books and pop culture to, and everything in between. It's pretty cool. This is truly for everybody, I discovered. So I think this is cool. I think, like, I can't play an instrument, so I don't have a band. I'm not cool enough to have a band. I don't have that, but I have a voice. Everybody's got a voice.
Yeah.
Everybody has something to say. Everybody wants to argue about, Marvel versus DC or what's wrong with the DC universe,
Mhm.
movie universe, and why it sticks compared to Marvel Cinematic Universe. And everyone wants to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife or time travel or all that. And you can do that here for sure.
I think that's such a great idea because podcasting is intimidating. You know, you don't know what's the right equipment to get, or you can get the wrong equipment, and next thing you know, you spent money on a dud, uploading, like you said, all that stuff. So I think it's pretty cool that you guys even offer the engineer to like take care of all of that for the person, and they just have to rent the space and come in and discuss what they want to discuss.
Oh
It
yeah.
also houses your podcasts as well, correct?
Yes, for sure. I do too. The one we started 10 years ago is called I Sell Comics, and it's with me and fellow comic book man Mike Zapsik. We we started it just because we just wanted to talk about comic books and pop culture and geeky things, and we wanted to see. We had never podcasted before. It was something that Kevin Smith was like, "Hey, we need a comic book podcast on my network. Start one." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah, start a podcast." I'm like, "I can't do that. I upload your podcast to iTunes. I'm not famous. I don't sit behind a microphone. I have no good stories. I don't meet celebrities. I don't make movies. I work for you. That's cool, but, that's not a podcast." He's like, "No, talk about whatever you love." I'm like, "Comics, Star Wars, and food?" He's like, "That's a podcast." I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, I could do that." So I teamed up with Mike Zapsik. Yeah, it was cool. We started our first episode, and it was awesome. I never thought I could do anything like this. I was like the teenage Peter Parker in Amazing Fantasy 15. I was getting beat up by Flash Thompson. No one paid attention to me, and I was very quiet. I was meek. I didn't think I
Mhm.
had anything to say. I had no business behind a microphone, but I discovered very quickly, when you talk about stuff that you love, like all this stuff we're surrounded by, it comes out not only very easily, but you're an expert. I mean, I've seen Star Wars, what, a million times? So I've probably seen it more than George Lucas has at this point, probably. I'm sure he could watch it once a month. So, of course, us geeks, people who love pop culture and movies as much as we do, we're gonna talk about things
Yeah.
with as much expertise as anybody else. And, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna get into inane conversations about Hulk versus Thor or Infinity Gems or, Thanos or flux capacitors, why not sit around and do it with your friends who love it or hate it as much as you do? You can get into arguments. Why not record it and put it out to a worldwide audience? Why let that conversation go into the ether, never to be heard from again? That makes no sense to me. Record it.
Right.
You'll find fans, you'll find people who agree with you, you'll find people who disagree with you. It doesn't matter. They're gonna listen to you. It's pretty cool.
What's some of the biggest arguments that you've had with Mike? Do you remember? Like, and not like legit, like you
Oh,
guys were, but like
so I think the
comic book wise.
I mean, we've almost come to fisticuffs. I think the biggest one that always comes up Is Star Wars related. Mike is a Empire sympathizer. He thinks that the Empire is
Oh.
doing a good thing. He says they brought order to the galaxy. That they had to put fear into all the planets in the system in order to maintain order, and that ruling by fear is okay. And I totally disagree with that. I think the Empire is full of crap. I think it's poorly run, and I think there needed to be a rebellion to shake things up. And he disagrees with me, and we fight often about this. And he's wrong. No, he's not. He's wrong. The Empire is just a poorly run organization, and I don't believe in. I don't really believe in motivating through fear. I don't think that's ever worked out very well throughout. It's worked short term throughout our history, and I think that would extend to the galaxy as well. Yeah, I don't believe
That
in like
makes
dictatorships and ruling through fear. I think I don't know. I mean, he's got some valid arguments too. The Jedi Order was also pretty much full of crap, and they didn't they didn't last very long either. Um, they probably put too much faith in Yoda and Mace Windu, but you know, I I think I side with the good side of the Force always.
oh. See, I teeter. Sometimes I'm on the good side, the light side, and sometimes I'm on the dark side because they've got cookies over there. So,
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, I'll take the cookies in a run though for sure.
Now, what got you? Do you remember like what moment in your life that got you into the comic book realm?
I do. I do remember the moment. I was in first grade. I was a 6-year-old, and a classmate, for whatever reason, handed me a copy of Avengers number 214. And I don't know why he gave it to me. I don't think I think maybe he read it. He was like, "Hey, this is really cool. You should read this." And I I was aware, of course, of Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, some of the major comic book heroes, but I had never read a comic book before. I did, and so this was my first comic book ever, and I opened it, and it was magic in those pages. Up until then, it was like, Hop on Pop or The Cat in the Hat. Great stories in their own
Oh,
right, but
yeah.
there's not a guy in red and gold armor. There's not a guy with the Captain America shield. There's not a big green Hulk. And so on the cover of Avengers 214, it's a picture of Iron Man being taken down by the Ghost Rider. And imagine as a 6-year-old, you see a guy
Yeah.
in a metal outfit being taken down by a dude with a flaming skull and a motorcycle. This is
Oh my
completely
God.
out of my realm. I'd been, I think I saw some Scooby Doo cartoons up until that point. Um, and I was like, What is this? This is crazy. What is this?" And I read that comic book cover to cover, and I just became entranced with it. And I think that truly started everything. It was just
That's
a
where.
Marvel, a Marvel comic book in the 200s. They came out in the early 80s, and it sparked everything. So I still have that. I still have that comic too. I've kept it
Do
all
you
my life.
really?
Still have it, yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah,
Oh man.
definitely.
So
It's like an artifact. It's like the whole.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Ark of the Covenant or something in my book.
It's like in glass case with a spotlight on it, of
Yeah, not
paper
quite.
friendly.
It's in a short box in storage right now. Maybe I should take it out. Maybe I should get it graded. But I
I
like
mean,
flipping through it, every so often.
oh, okay.
I'm not gonna encase it in like in a plastic tomb. Nah.
Yeah. No. Well, actually, I have the perfect slab for you then. It is called the Gator Guard, and it is so cool because it's actually screws instead of a permanent placement. So you can unscrew it and read it when you want to and just have it guarded forever.
That's
So
awesome. That's the way to
there's,
do it then.
there's, yeah,
Totally
that is,
appreciate it.
I have one and it's like so great because it protects the comic, and then if you want to, you can unscrew it and read it and then put it back and nice and safe. So
That's awesome. I
I'll
mean,
send you the link to that.
comic books should be read, everybody, not encased in plastic, never to be seen from again. Unless it's
Exactly.
worth, $20,000 like a Hulk 181 or something. You've read it. That okay, that I guess, then it's got significant financial value. that okay, I guess I could overlook that, but, yeah, it makes no sense to
Yeah,
encase,
so permanently,
the
that's why I like the
screen.
gator guard because you can open it as you please. So I
That's
love the gator
amazing.
guard. So what superhero would Ming be? Would you take over a superhero personality like Captain America? Or would you be your own
That's a
superhero?
great question. I mean, right now, I think my superpowers are just drinking lots of coffee and not sleeping, and I guess podcasting is gonna go 7. You don't really save people doing that, though. So, um, I mean, it would be cool to put on the Spidey suit and swing around. New York is not that far from me. It's, like about an hour drive from here.
Yeah.
That would be
Hmm.
cool. Yeah, I don't walk around trying to get bitten by spiders, trying to get Spider-Man's powers like those kids did in Europe. I don't know if you read
I
that story.
know. Yes, there was like three of them, and I'm like,
The 3
what are you
kids.
doing? Like, what? Yeah, it was
They
crazy.
hey,
Yeah,
I guess they were like, "Well, either this is gonna work or it won't." But if it worked, I
and
guess
it.
all 3 of them would have become Spider-Man, so
I mean, yeah, they would have had to fight for like the official name, I guess, because you know, one of them would have had
yeah.
to be like a
I
different
mean,
Spider-Man.
right. I mean, I guess the superpower question always comes up. You have a superpower, what would it be? And,
Hmm.
prior to this quarantine, I was traveling a lot. I was going to a lot of Comic Cons, and
Yeah,
if
I
you've ever been
know.
to an airport, if you've ever had to go through security, if you've ever been patted down by a TSA agent, you know that travel sucks. So I
Yeah.
would have loved teleportation, where
Oh,
I could be on a beach in Hawaii, like that.
yeah, like no
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, I
That's actually
guess
a good one.
I use that power to save people, kinda like Nightcrawler, except, I think he can only teleport to where he can his visibility is, I believe,
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
it's a short range. Yeah, but if I could
Hmm.
extend that to anywhere on the planet Earth,
That's
that'd
what
be
you
pretty
would.
cool. Yeah, I guess I would use this to save
That
people,
would
like,
be
there was
cool.
people trapped in
I
a
could see
burning
you doing
building.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just need a name, I don't have a name yet, so
I always felt no, we'll work on the name. But I always felt like I'd be a villain.
yeah,
So sad but true. Like I feel like I would be a villain. But I guess it would just depend on who needs the help. Are you a jerk?
right.
Maybe you don't need so much help. But if you're like an innocent child, then yeah, of course I would help out. So I guess
Yeah,
for
if
me it just all depends on the person.
right, if you're like a lawyer or something, no, I'm not. You're on your own, man. Go hire a lawyer to help you, another lawyer to help you out. Go get a legal team together. You'll be fine.
Right?
Yeah,
But you
but yeah.
also have another comic book, Ming and Mike podcast. What's different between that one and the I Sell Comics?
So
Nothing really.
I saw comics I saw comics pretty much focus on the world of comic books, pop culture, the new books that come out every Wednesday, and, with a little humor thrown in. I think so we've done over 300 episodes, and, so we started it before Comic Book Man even. So I think
Oh,
as we recorded, as we kinda got into Comic Book Man, of course, we talked about that, and then we started getting invited to comic book conventions, and, which was kind of a new world for us. We were like, "Whoa, instead of standing in line waiting for an autograph, people are standing in line waiting for our autograph. This is pretty cool." And, we started on the podcast, we started kinda delving into all the wacky adventures that would happen to us at Comic Cons at various
mhm.
cities. And I think it got to a point where people were listening to our episodes, and they're like, "Hey, what happened to talking about comics? Like, all you guys do is talk about your wacky adventures at Comic Cons. Like, can you get back to the comic books?" And we were like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. You're here to find out about the oh, right. Okay, all right, we'll focus." So we were like, "Well, wait, why don't we just start another podcast where we talk about our wacky
Oh,
adventures or anything else we wanna talk about for that matter?" And so we started the Ming and Mike show where we just talk about whatever the heck we want. And, that's the thing I love about podcasting is maybe you start a show focused on something, on comics, on movies, on whatever, and you wanna do something else, well, then go do it. Go start another show. Like, no one's stopping you, and you could do that very easily, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." That you're in
yeah.
control of your destiny, basically. So and you can create as many shows as you want and pick different co-hosts and just change it up, I I love I love vanilla ice cream, but I love chocolate and strawberry too, and I like putting toppings on it. So yeah, it's you could do that. It's cool.
That's a good analogy of the ice cream difference. It's true.
Yeah,
You have a preference, but
yeah.
you tend to like other stuff too. Now, did you ever think about with your love of coffee and food? Did you think about because I see your Instagram posts, and
I
I'm
like
like, okay, you're making me
oh,
hungry. You're making me want coffee. Did you think about doing like a podcast about that?
um yes, I have. I think the thing about coffee and food and just things like that, they're way more visual. Like I
Mm,
can talk about food, but if you can see it and you
yeah.
can watch it being prepared, then that's even better. And I I would love to, maybe move something like that onto YouTube,
Oh,
perhaps.
yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah, but then, the other thing I like about the audio podcast or the live streaming is, you can kinda just hit a button and go and
Oh,
record audio. The video thing is way more work. There's cameras, there's audio. Ideally, you have at least somebody else shooting you. Like, if I could have someone follow me around on these adventures and then someone else to edit it, and then I would do it in a heartbeat. That kind of
yeah,
a small crew. I would be out there eating and drinking everywhere, and, yeah, that I think that's the tougher part is, it's just so
yeah.
much more involved, and but
It is.
I would love to do that. I mean, if I travel for a convention, yeah, the first thing I do is I throw my bags in my hotel room. Like, I barely even see the room during that weekend. I throw my bags in there, and I look for the best coffee place. I look for the best dive bar. I look for where they're making craft cocktails.
Yeah.
I try to find the places where the people who live there are hanging out at, and I go check those places out. And if they're awesome, I'll go back and then I'll go grab all my friends at the convention. I'll be like, "Dude, I just found this place where you walk I found this divey hot dog place where you walk through a TARDIS and you're into a hidden
It's
cocktail
amazing.
bar." And this place really exists. It's in Birmingham, Alabama. It's called the Marble Ring. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you walk through a TARDIS. It's awesome, and you're
Oh
in
my god, that's
a
so
fancy
cool.
cocktail bar. It's completely insane.
I
It's
love
yeah,
seeing
it's
you
so
at
good.
conventions because you're always so upbeat on your regular, your regular pictures and stuff. When you're
Yeah.
at home or at the studio, this different smile to you. What do you think that is? Is it because you're surrounded by our people, our nerd people?
It that yeah, first and foremost, yeah, that's it. Not that long ago, all this stuff wasn't cool. You got looked down on for reading
Mhm.
comic books or,
Oh yeah,
dressing up, cosplay. Cosplay was, no, it wasn't that long ago, not everybody cosplayed, and if you did, you were weird. You were dressed up in costumes, like, "What
yeah,
what are you doing? It's
exactly.
not Halloween. Why are you dressed up? Why do you have metal claws?" I was like, "I'm Wolverine." Like, "Who's Wolverine?" Like, nobody knew what this stuff was. And everyone was like, "Well, comic books are for kids. You need to grow up. Um, no one's gonna pay you to read comic books. No one's gonna pay you to play video games. No one's gonna pay you to love pop culture." And it was tough. So it was even tough finding friends or anybody who knew what you were talking about, or anybody who enjoyed who enjoyed the same stuff you did. And it was frustrating because, people like you and me, we knew how cool the X-Men were. We knew how cool the Avengers
Yeah,
were. We knew all this stuff, and no one would listen to us. And
yeah,
I plead, "You gotta read this. This is mutants are cool." Like, even the bad guy mutants are cool.
yeah,
This guy controls metal. This is awesome. And they're like, "What are you talking about controlling metal?
yeah,
This is stupid." I'm like, "It's not." All right, fine. You know what? You're gonna thank me one day. You're gonna thank me one day.
yeah.
And it was just tough. It was, I think in my high school, my class was like 400 people. There were two people who knew who Wolverine was, and those became my best friends. So we would go to my friend's house and play Nintendo all day after school and watch James Cameron movies. Watch Aliens over and over, and
Mhm.
like role playing games, like all this stuff. And that was my world. But nobody else thought it was cool. So, I
No,
was trying to
yeah,
find the 2 guys I could hang with, and, yeah, it was frustrating, but now you go to a con, and and there's like 100,000 people that weekend that know exactly what you're talking about, that love the same stuff you do.
Yeah.
Like it took a little while to get there, but we're definitely there now. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think that alone just makes me smile for sure. Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
who, like you're at a Comic Con. There's toys and comics and cool people and people from your favorite TV shows and movies currently, from your past, from your childhood.
Yeah.
It's like it's the best party every weekend. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that explains why I'm usually in a pretty good mood at a Comic Con
The
for
extra smile.
oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool, and then, on top of that, I've been blessed at being I was able to be on Comic Book Man, so you meet people who love something that you worked on, which, and I don't really call it work, I got lucky, but it's still, we had fun, and it's cool that something you spent a lot of time making, that other people saw it and enjoyed it, so that extends to, not only Comic Book Men, but people who listen to your podcast or watch your live stream or watch your videos, and, in a way, that's even more fulfilling because you created this, you you dictate every direction that this goes in, that, this show doesn't happen without you, and,
Yeah.
yeah, Comic Con was cool, but, there was a whole production team, and there were a lot of moving parts, and we they listened to us a lot on the stuff that we wanted to do, but, in the end, there was someone else kind of forming and shaping it in a way,
That makes
whereas,
sense.
something like this that we create ourselves, podcasts, live streams,
Mhm.
we control everything. Our guests, we dictate everything, and, that's even more fulfilling, which is it's great.
Yeah, yeah, I bet because it's like you said, it's something that you built. It's your
Mhm.
baby, and it's the production and everything is you as far as the podcast goes. So
Yeah.
that makes 100% sense. So not to like officially put you on the spot, but has there been a guest, whether on Comic Book Men or on your podcast, that you absolutely fanboyed over?
I mean, there have been many, if you watch Comic Book Man, we were very lucky. We were
God,
lucky, so, I mean,
yeah.
number 1 has gotta be Stan Lee,
I was going
which,
to say, if Stanley's not
that's
up there, I'm disowning you.
that's I think we gotta just take him out of the running. I mean, Stan Lee is
Yeah,
the godfather. Stan Lee is the man. Stan Lee without Stan Lee, we wouldn't be talking to each other,
true.
like, I think most of this room would disappear, if Stan Lee
Mhm.
never existed. That's just, and, I mean, I always love the fact that he was the ambassador to comics, basically. He kinda bridged that gap between, like, hardcore comic book fan and casual viewer, and, he was that guy, like, I meet people from, 2 years old to, like, 100 years old, and they knew who Stan Lee is, and they
Mhm.
know he was, like, the godfather of Marvel Comics. They know he created so many characters that we love, and, or maybe they just know him as a cameo guy from the Marvel movies. It doesn't matter, like, almost everybody knows who Stan Lee is, and I think, so the fact that I not only got to meet him and spend some time with him and ask him stupid questions, but the fact that it's documented on a TV show, is pretty
I
cool,
know.
and I have some photos with him,
Yeah.
and, that was pretty cool, and even after that, he came on the show twice, which was very, very
Mhm.
gracious of him, and then after that, I would run into him at the odd comic book convention every so often, and, he'd be like, "Hey, Ming, how the hell are ya?" And I was like, "Whoa, man, this is cool." This is cool. I could never dreamed as a
That's
kid
so cool.
that Stan the Man Lee would be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Trooper." Yeah, that's pretty cool. But, I mean, we've had so many cool guys. Adam West came on the show from the Batman
Mhm.
66 series. He was on,
Yeah.
and, he passed away not too long afterwards, so we were very lucky that we got to work with him, that he came down to our
Yeah.
comic book shop, and, I love Star Wars, so Peter Mayhew and, Billy D.
No.
Williams came down on our show. So if you told me as an 8-year-old, like, "Hey, sit down, let me tell you something. One day, Chewbacca and Lando Calrissian are gonna come down to the place that you eventually work at." I'm like, "Get out of here, like, what
Right?
what?" Yeah, like, what lies are you telling here? Why are you telling me this? What that will never happen, not in a million years, and it
Yeah.
happens. So,
That's I
yeah.
mean, that's so cool. You must feel so like privileged and honored, I guess. And because these, like you said, these are heroes of our past. These are people
Oh, yeah.
that you're like, oh my God, I grew up watching because
Right.
I don't think there's too many people our age that did not watch Adam West as Batman.
Oh, yeah, it's
So
insane for sure. It's pure
yeah,
insanity.
so that's definitely
Yeah.
super
Sometimes you
cool.
sit back and it's like, "Wow, did that really happen?" And, it's documented, and I was like, "Wow, that did happen." That was really cool.
It's so cool. So you're also, so I'm curious. I saw that you guys are signing comic book men caps. Is that a
Yes.
limited edition thing that you guys are doing?
It
What's that
I I
about?
think I think I'll sell them as long as people want them. So, while the show is going on, there wasn't any merchandise, and, um, AMC was a network, they never really put anything out, and I always wondered why, as I
Mhm.
love as a fan, comic book fan, what do after you see movies, like, "Alright, where can I get the T-shirt? Where can I get the action figures? Where can I get anything that shows my fandom for this thing that I love?" And, yeah, they never put out anything with comic book man on it, and I guess while the show was going on, I was like, "Alright, well, I guess I don't really own the rights to the show itself." So, I didn't really look into producing anything for it. But now
Oh.
that the show is over, I've kind of felt like, well, I don't think anybody cares anymore, right? So I started, yeah,
It's
I
so
I
silly.
I have a friend who makes really, really great merchandise, and, I love hats, and I love embroidered hats. I'm like, "Hey, could you take a stab at, maybe making a comic book man hat? Like, I have the logo, like, let's see what that looks like." And I got it back, I was like, "Well, this is awesome." And,
It does look good.
yeah, I was like, "Wait, we could sell the hat and people will wear it, but, do you think anybody would want it if we all signed it?" And so, yeah, as an experiment, I put up signed versions as well, signed by all 4 of us, me, Mike, Walt Flanagan, the manager, and Brian Johnson, the guy with the big beard. And,
Yeah.
yeah, they've been selling pretty well. So, yeah, just I guess there's still fans out there, and it's pretty unique. Like, I think I'm the only one selling them right now, so I, yeah, it's, and people are buying them, so, they're helping support the studio and everything, so, yeah, and I think they put out pretty well. Like, I'm pretty serious about what I
Yeah.
wear, and, so I want the people that we sell to have really cool items as well, for sure.
Where can people find that on sale? Like, is it on a
We were selling it
website? Is it through your
on our
Instagram?
website. Yeah, it's on, if you head to ashareduniverse.com, you can pick those up. So we have unsigned versions, and then we have the version signed by all 4 of us, which is, just kinda cool. It's
Okay.
not, watch the show, but it's actually kinda hard getting all 4 of us together at one time. Brian doesn't really work at the store. We all can't kinda keep really odd hours.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get your hats,
So we're close to the end. Is there anything else you want to promote that I haven't touched on?
I think I mean, it's been a very weird year, and I love that we
Yes.
can do this. I love live streaming. I mean, I had this pandemic happen, like, it may have been another year or so till I saw you again. So it's really cool
Yeah,
that I
I
got to
know.
see you, um, right here and
Yeah, I
now, and,
know.
yeah, if you love this, you're like, "Oh, man, I wanna do something like this." Like, we can help you. We can help you live stream like this with cool stuff in
Yay.
the background, with scrolls, with, name banners, like, all kinds of stuff. This is what we do. This is what we've been doing the last 4 months. So, if maybe you're interested in starting a podcast, and we can do it, you can be anywhere. We can help you, and we can connect you with anyone around the world.
And that's
Go
so
to
awesome.
ashareduniverse.com, and, we can help you get started. So, and, yeah, or you can talk to the high-heeled gamer for sure.
Or
Are
you
you
can talk to
wearing
me.
heels right now? Do you wear heels inside?
So right now I'm not wearing my heels because I'm not
Oh,
playing a video.
liar.
Well, I'm I'm not playing a video game right now. I only
Okay.
wear my heels when I play video games.
That's amazing.
Thank
That's
you.
really, really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, they
I
give you
actually
that
have
extra
like a
power
shoe
for
cam
sure.
and everything. Like, yeah, I have a shoe cam and
Really?
everything. Yeah, I have a shoe cam.
Oh,
Yeah, but I don't
hey,
wear heels unless I'm playing video games. So
okay, well, I'm gonna have to tune into that then,
yeah,
and I think everybody else should too.
thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's been fun. It's been a lot. Well, I put in the shoe cam because a lot of people were like, "You don't wear high heels when you play," so now they can see that I do.
Yes. Well,
So
you gotta live up to the name, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
Well,
love it.
Ming, I appreciate you taking the time from your
Of
busy
course.
schedule to talk to little old me.
Uh,
Some people don't believe that we're friends, but we are. We
well,
are
you
friends.
believe it now. Believe it
Yeah.
now.
And as always, go like, share, subscribe, go find Ming. There he is. Go find Ming on social media. Um, go to his website, ashareduniverse.com. And as always, we will see you next Wednesday. Bye, everyone.